Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. His Royal Highness Prince Faisal, the King's advisor and chairman of the National Policy Council, met with a delegation from an independent research center in the U.S. at Al Husseiniya Palace. Prince Faisal and the Center for American Progress delegates reviewed Jordan-U.S. relations, regional issues including the Palestinian-Israeli peace process and the Syrian crisis. The two sides stressed the need to maintain the de-escalation zone in southwestern Syria, while they also discussed the repercussions of the Syrian refugee crisis on the Jordanian economy. They also highlighted UNRWA's important role and the need to support it so it can continue providing educational, health and relief services. State Minister for Media Affairs, Mohammed Al-Momeni, also met with the delegates of the Center for American Progress. Momeni told delegates that at this stage, Jordan's biggest challenge is an economic one. He said regional circumstances, the hosting of refugees and the closure of borders led to the decline of Jordanian exports, foreign trade, and the rise of unemployment, and affected different sectors, including transport, tourism, and investment. And despite all these challenges, Momeni continued, Jordan was still able to maintain its security and stability. He also reiterated Jordan's clear position vis-à-vis the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the Syrian crisis, and the war on terror. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki and Saudi Ambassador to Jordan, Prince Khaled bin Faisal, laid the foundation stone at the new Princess Basma Hospital project in Zabda in South Irbid. Mulki said it is hoped that the health and medical care services will be integrated within other ongoing health projects in the northern governorates by 2022, adding that he hoped in the future no citizen in Irbid or other northern governorates would need to travel to Amman's hospitals and other healthcare centers after making these services available in the north. He stressed the government is working to direct its spending on services needed by citizens in all governorates, adding that currently work on such services is being made in Tafila. Minister of Public Works and Housing Sami Halase, meanwhile, said the $65 million project, which is funded by his Saudi grant from the Saudi Fund for Development, is to be built on 88,000 square meters of land. He also announced that during the next few days, there will be new development projects in the health sector that will include the new Ma'an Military Hospital, Al-Bashir Hospital's ambulance and emergency building, as well as the new Madaba Hospital at an estimated cost of more than 120 million dinars. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki, deputizing for His Majesty, attended the closing of the Jordan Economic Forum at the Dead Sea. Mulki, along with the Lower House Speaker Atif al-Tarawne, saw the signing of 6 investment project agreements worth $174 million in various sectors, including the industry, agriculture, and medical sectors. These included a $6 million deal for Kasih food production factory, $20 million for Itqan Pharmaceutical Industries, and $30 million for Modern Jordanian Farms Company. A $32 million agreement was also signed between the Jordan Petroleum Refinery Company and the Spanish TR Group, among other agreements. Tarawne said the lower house today provides an opportunity in partnership between the government and the private sector to launch investment agreements that benefit communities and create job opportunities for the young. In the Russian city of Sochi, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman al-Safadi and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov said the two countries continue to enhance their relations and boost cooperation in an effort to resolve regional crises to restore security, stability and peace. The two ministers discussed regional developments, particularly efforts aimed at resolving the Palestinian-Israeli conflict on the basis of the two-state solution and finding a political solution to the Syrian crisis. They also discussed other regional and international issues of concern, including fighting terrorism. During a joint press conference, Safadi said the two-state solution is the only way to achieve comprehensive and lasting peace, while the holy city of Jerusalem is the key to peace. He said Jerusalem will be the city of peace when East Jerusalem becomes the capital of the Palestinian state and when oppression and occupation end. Safadi also said the Jordanian-Syrian borders are a bridge to deliver aid to the Syrian people, not weapons. Lavrov, meanwhile, stressed his country's support for Jordan's efforts to fight Daesh terrorist group in Syrian territory. And in response to a question, he said Moscow's initiative to hold a summit meeting in Russia between the Palestinian and Israeli leaders for direct and unconditional dialogue is still in place. Senate President Faisal al-Fayez called on the European Union to increase its economic and financial assistance to the kingdom to support Jordan with the Syrian refugee crisis and the economic challenges brought by regional crises. Fayez made the remarks in talks with his Spanish counterpart, Pio García Escudero, at the Upper House of Parliament. He urged the international community to assume its moral, humanitarian and legal obligations to restore stability in Syria and the suffering of its people and enable the refugees' return back home. While Escudero said Spain is aware of the EU's unsatisfactory assistance to Jordan, adding that the Spanish Senate has already contacted EU institutions to increase their financial aid. Also meeting separately with the Spanish Senate President were Speaker of the Lower House of Parliament, Atif al-Tarawneh, and Deputy Prime Minister and State Minister for Cabinet Affairs, Jamal al-Sarayre. Tarawneh expressed Jordan's appreciation of Spanish senators' recommendations to the Spanish Cooperation Agency over increasing aid to Jordan. Al-Sarayre, who was deputizing for Prime Minister Hani al-Mulqi, also reiterated the various challenges facing the kingdom as a result of regional crises, including calling on Spain to urge the international community to shoulder its responsibilities over the Syrian refugees. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development announced its plan to sign, along with its partners, 2.6 billion euros worth of agreements with the kingdom over the next 3 to 5 years. The bank's Eastern Mediterranean Region Director, Heike Harmgaard, said the bank will contribute 1 billion euros of the amount. Harmgaard made the announcement during a joint press conference with Minister of Planning and International Cooperation, Imad Fakhouri. The bank will be holding its annual meeting and business forum for the first time at the Dead Sea from May 8th till the 10th under royal patronage, with the participation of around 2,500 business leaders and academics. Harmgaard said the meeting will discuss investment opportunities and the investment climate in the kingdom. Fakhouri, meanwhile, said the bank's investment portfolio from 2012 to 2017 amounted to 1 billion euros, which were used to support 38 projects in renewable energy, pharmaceuticals, and water industries. In sports, there was a case of déjà vu in Doncaster today as Wiggle High 5 rider Kirsten Wild was first across the finish line of Stage 1 of this year's Asda Tour de Yorkshire women's race. The 35-year-old appeared to cruise over the line, sprinting in the saddle, beating 2016 world champion Amelie Didrikson and Britain Alice Barnes into second and third places respectively. The final kilometers were dominated by 3 lead-out trains, but Wild, with more than 500 meters to go, showed her skill and experience following other teams' wheels and opened up her sprint. And finally, a look at the weather forecast. It will be warm and dry tonight and warm to relatively hot tomorrow as temperatures continue to be 7 to 8 degrees above their seasonal average, while winds will be southeasterly moderate to brisk and blowing dust. Amman can expect a high of 33 degrees Celsius tomorrow and lows of 20 degrees, while in the Gulf of Aqaba it will be hot with highs of 36 degrees dropping down to 27 at night. And with this, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Dara Absham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.